Hello, best friend, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having the most fabulous day. If this is the first time that you're watching my channel, my name is Sebastian, and I welcome you all with open arms. I do pop culture videos every single day, so if you're looking for a new messy best friend, you have found me. So why don't you grab a snack and a drink, hit that subscribe button, best friend, because we got to talk about the Kourtney Kardashian, Mason DISICK, Scott DISICK, Travis Barker mess. And we are in my closet right now because my husband is actually mopping and sweeping outside. So, you know what, girl? Sometimes it's okay. But you know, the worst part is, best friend, girl, I always have to go and re-clean everything because it's like he cleans in another dimension. He literally, like, he misses so many spots, but you know, I do it secretly. You know what I mean? Like when he leaves or something, I'll just go back and clean it. But you know, I'll be like, oh my God, he did such a good job, because I don't want to hurt his feelings. And he gets so happy and he puts his music on, so I don't want to ruin it for him, bitch. But anyways, girl, welcome back. We gotta talk about Kourtney Kardashian because there's like a little reflection here, isn't there? Let me put some of this. This is the D'Alba Vital Spray Serum. They sell it on Amazon and it is amazing, you guys. It just helps with redness. It helps with hydration. It's amazing. Anyways, so Kourtney Kardashian is facing some backlash right now, best friend, because some people are really upset at her because she is allegedly choosing her husband over her family. Some people are calling her out for that. Well, listen, obviously you guys know that Kourtney Kardashian married Travis Barker, and if you know anything about, you know, the history of the Kardashians, you know that, you know, Scott DISICK, the father of Kourtney's 3 children, Mason, Penelope, and Rain, they've had such a, you know, turbulent relationship, right? And she struggled so much. She wanted him for so many years to show up as a boyfriend, as her man, and as the father of her children, right? Having said that, best friend, Scott obviously has always been part of the Kardashian, you know, show. And he is very good friends with Khloe and very good friends with Kim and Chris and everyone. If you guys didn't know, Scott actually lost his both of his parents quite suddenly in very, like, you know, close times together. And he was left alone, basically. So Kris Jenner and the Kardashians kind of just like adopted him, not only, you know, for being Kourtney's boyfriend, but just somebody part of the family. Anyways, so he's never really gone away and he's always been part of the family. Well, now that Kourtney has decided to, you know, she moved on with Travis, got married, had baby Rocky, all of that stuff, Mason has decided to live with, with Scott DISICK and not with, you know, his mother or her new husband. Now, Mason is 14, 15 years old. He's in a very awkward stage in that, you know, when you're that young, puberty, hormones, you know, you want to be cool, you know, your parents aren't cool anymore, which that never really happened to me. My mom was always my best friend, but okay, girl. You know, things like that. You want to, you know, it's just an awkward, and then you add a reality show, you add the Kardashians as your family. It's a very big issue here. So, you know, Scott and Mason have a very close relationship. Mason lives with Scott, and there was a recent Australian trip where Mason actually decided not to go. He wanted to actually stay with Scott. And that really hurt Kourtney's feelings. And that's one of the things that people are calling her out on, because they're saying, now that you have, you know, Travis, you have your little baby, don't forget about your eldest, right? One thing about the show, the Kardashians, especially with Kourtney Kardashian, that I have always seen is that Kourtney has always set such strong boundaries when it comes to her children. Always, best friend. I mean, I'm talking about she won't film, she won't go to events, she won't travel, she won't do everything that the other girls are doing because she wants to be with her children and not miss a moment with her children. I think Kourtney's in a very sticky situation, and I could actually relate to that because when my mom got with my stepdad, I hated him. I was also about 14 years old. You know, I never seen my mother with anybody. So for me, it was so difficult. I used to do a lot of pranks on him. I used to, you know, he had high blood pressure and I knew it. So I would put salt in all of his foods. And like, I was doing some really mean pranks, okay? As I got older, of course, I realized that, you know, he gave my mom love and respect, and you know, as an adult you understand, but as a kid you're like, he's trying to take her away from me. So you know, I definitely understand Mason, you know, thinking that maybe his father Scott is being pushed to the side, you know, thinking that he doesn't really have a place anymore in the family because of the new baby. Like, it's a very tricky situation. And from all the sisters, Kourtney is meant to be the most strict one, and maybe Mason, you know, is like, I'm just gonna go live with my dad, it's probably easier. And it allegedly the other kids are on board as well, and I don't know how true that is, so please take that with a grain of salt. But I think that one of the things that Kourtney, Kris, and Kim need to do is stop trying to put Scott down Kourtney's throat. I'm sure she still has to deal with him through, you know, kid stuff like school and all those things. So stop trying to push him down her throat, because it's still her ex. It's still a man who caused her a lot of pain. It's still, it's still somebody who, you know, who she suffered and cried a lot for. And we saw that on camera, right? She dealt with his drinking, she dealt with his partying, she dealt with a lot of things that, you know, she is over. So yes, it's a father of her children, and there's definitely respect there, but it's also like, man, you know what, girl, I'm sorry, but you got to deal with that, you know, and stop bringing him around more than he has to be, you know. So I definitely understand Kourtney, I definitely understand Mason, and I definitely understand that this whole situation is so crazy. And, you know, you add cameras and you add, you know, being with the most famous family in the world, you know, I'm sure Mason hears it a lot from his classmates and, you know, all of his friends, like, oh my God, your family's the Kardashians, you know, like, I'm sure it's not easy, but it's also one of the things where I just feel like he is at such a young age that he won't understand until he's a lot older. So I think we just have to give him time for him to kind of like, you know, mature and you know, and get to that level where he understands. So that's what I think, best friend. You know, it's a very tricky situation, but you know, I feel like as long as Kourtney carves out time for each children and understands them and respects them to the point where, you know, allows them to have an opinion, and I'm sure Kourtney went through the same thing with Bruce Jenner at the time with his, you know, her mother, Kris Jenner. You know, it was said that Kourtney had a really difficult time with Bruce. So I'm sure she kind of can relate to Mason. And him not going to Australia for the Blink-182 tour, she was heartbroken over that. But I understand him, you know, Mason, he wants to be with his dad. He doesn't want his dad to feel forgotten or left out. And I'm sure he feels protection over his dad. So I definitely understand. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah. Bye.
Dinner tonight. Should I say something about Australia?
Yes. Mason, like, isn't wanting to come because he's a teenager and wants to be with his friends and with his dad. And I don't want to not see him.
What if I just say, it's too bad?
Best friend, so I'm watching the Kardashians right now, and I've been seeing online a lot of articles about Kourtney Kardashian and her relationship with Mason, her oldest, and there's a lot of people coming at Kourtney, and I think we got to talk about this. So Mason is at this really awkward age, you know what I mean, where he is growing into, you know, himself. He's confused about a lot of things. He wants to impress his friends. And on top of it, you know, his family is the Kardashians, right? Now, regarding Travis Barker and Scott Disick and Kourtney, it's been very obvious that Kourtney wants nothing to do with Scott. And on the show, you know, she kind of gets upset that, you know, allegedly that he even still is on the show, and that Khloe and Kim, they decide to always film with him. But Khloe and Kim have both said that, and Kris Jenner have all said that Scott is family and he's not going anywhere. He's obviously the, you know, the father of Kourtney's 3 children. Now, here's the thing. Kourtney cannot completely force everybody to stop hanging out with him, but they have to stop trying to force her to hang out with him. You know what I mean? I feel like at the end of the day, yes, it's the father of her children, but at the end of the day, it's also her ex-boyfriend who caused her a lot of pain, and she spent a lot of years trying to make him a better person, and you know, all of these things. So it's sort of like, I feel like it's unfair for her to try and delete him off the Kardashian radar and from the children's lives, if that's what she's doing. But at the end of the day, they cannot force her to be with this man. That's still her ex. That's still, you know, the father of her children. But that's still a man that hurt her as a woman. And as a mother, seeing her, you know, struggle through the years of wanting him to be more involved in her children's lives. And with Travis Barker, you know, I do think that, you know, I also had a stepdad, and seeing my mom with my stepdad, I absolutely hated it. It was very difficult. I used to be so mean to him, used to prank him. You know, I used to, you know, I heard, you know, he had like high blood pressure, and I would like change his like Splenda into like salt. Like, yeah, I was a bitch. Well, he died now, bitch, but rest in peace. But we had a good relationship, you know, as I got older. But when you're that young, when, you know, I was 14, and I never seen my mom with any other man. So of course it was very difficult. I feel like Mason is seeing his father kind of maybe get left out, and seeing his mom move on with Travis. And I think that he wants to like protect his father and be there for his father, and that's why I feel like he maybe is, you know, living with his father right now. But one thing I know for sure, I mean, I don't know the Kardashians, but one thing I know for sure is that Kourtney goes above and beyond for her children. And Kourtney, she's always, since Mason was born, she's always had all of these huge boundaries with regarding the show and filming and everything, that her time with her children is precious. And that's why in my head, I feel like she would do anything for her children. And I think that Mason is just too young to understand that that is still her ex-boyfriend who put her through a lot of pain, and that her relationship with him should not be forced. Or Kim is like, you know, saying to Kourtney, like, hey, you know, do you want me to talk to Mason? Maybe I can like try to help him. And I love that they're showing this more real side of themselves. And I think if they continue on this path, I really think that they could, you know, do something different and like kind of break that fourth wall and not be so heavily produced like other reality shows. So, all right, I see you, Kardashians. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit that follow for more chit chat tea, bitch. Now, chit chat, I gotta get up, girl. I'm just over here watching the Kardashians. I have a full day, girl. So let's do it. I love you all. Let's spill some tea. And let me know what you guys think in the comments.